So we got a couple things that I want to talk about today. One being the Andor season 2 trailer. Oh my God. And another thing being the possibility that Kathleen Kennedy is actually going to be retiring this year, though we've been hearing that for about 5 years now. It looks like it actually might be true this time. So we're going to get into these two topics, talk a little bit of Star Wars, and try not to lose our minds doing it. So this week we got the trailer for the second season of Andor. Bro, I'm not even gonna hold my punches back on this one. What the hell is LucasFilm doing? You know, we thought that things were bad with Acolyte. We thought things were bad with Skeleton Crew. We thought things were bad with the sequels. Oh my God, bro. I'm gonna get that. Look, listen. I find it really hard as somebody who is new in the YouTube space trying to do stuff, because a lot of the times you kind of want to play it safe because you don't want to deter anybody before you even get started. Fuck that. I'm gonna let you know exactly how I feel about this trailer. This shit was ass. Now look, when it comes to Andor season 1, I did not finish the series. I watched 3 episodes that took me 3 days to get through because I kept falling asleep, and eventually said, screw it, I'm done, not watching this anymore. It didn't feel like Star Wars to me. It was boring, and there was no appeal in that show to me whatsoever. So when we got the announcement that season 2 was going to be coming along, I was working it up in myself to be able to go back and watch this show. I was going to watch season 1. I was gonna push through it because there are some people out there who say that it is a good show and it's the best Star Wars that we've gotten since the Disney acquisition. So whatever, maybe it was just me, even though the viewership sucked. But I was gonna go and watch it. After watching this trailer, I don't think so. From the moment that I pressed play on this trailer and hearing this freaking music that is playing behind this trailer, what the hell? Why would you do that? Why would you play some real world rock and roll type of song behind a Star Wars trailer? Star Wars is dramatic, it's operatic. There is a vibe to Star Wars that this show just fails to hit every single time. And now listen to me, because I can admit that this show is well made. The actors in this show do a fantastic job, at least from what I've seen and what other people have said about it. It is by all means a competently made show, but it is not Star Wars, not in my opinion. And I think most people would probably agree with that. And I find that to be real unfortunate, because Diego Luna is a phenomenal actor. He was a great character in Rogue One. I like that movie, and I do think that he gives a good performance. So it's unfortunate that they mix him in with this show. And in complete honesty, this has way more of a fault when it comes to Kathleen Kennedy and the execs at Lucasfilm, because Tony Gilroy, by all means, is a great writer. He's been a part of some great movies like the Jason Bourne trilogy, Armageddon, and as I said before, Rogue One was a good movie. Why are they hiring these people who don't even like the brand? Tony Gilroy himself has admitted to not being a fan of Star Wars, not even just not being a fan, to not liking it.
I'm asking the emotional question,
No,
not the narrative.
no, I was actually, in fact, that was my superpower. I don't like Star Wars. I just never been interested in Star Wars ever.
Why is he a part of this? Andor is so much more of a good sci-fi action type of show than it is a Star Wars show. And while some people might even think, well, hey, if it's a good show, regardless of if it feels like Star Wars or not, what's the problem? If it's a good show, what's the issue? The issue is that it is not Star Wars. Star Wars strikes a very specific tone, very specific vibe, a feeling that you get when you watch it. And Andor does not do that at all. There is no mysticism. There is no operatic vibes. It just feels so foreign. And it's so weird to have this trailer come out and it almost feels like it is actually worse than the first season, with the rock music in the background, Forrest Whitaker acting dumb, not at all acting like the Saw Gerrera that we know from even Rogue One.
You're here, you're right here, and you're ready to fight.
He just seems so wacky. It's so weird, dude. And I just find it so wild that all of this is for a character who was part of a spin-off movie, who got a spin-off show, a character that was in the background, and he dies. Why are we so bent on doing this series? Oh my God. You know, I truly didn't think that things could get worse. And I guess in a best case scenario, I could be completely wrong. The show could end up feeling just like Star Wars and be a major hit, maybe even do better than just the 12 viewers that were there for the first season. Who knows? That could absolutely happen. But from what I'm seeing in this trailer, this is just more of the same bullshit that Lucasfilm and Kathleen Kennedy continue to greenlight and continue continue to do. This is so horrible. And yet they still try to play it off like everything is going so well over there. Saying things like season 1 of Andor was hailed by all the critics, and hated by most of the fandom. I really just can't wait to see Kathleen Kennedy get out of there. And that is going to pivot us into this next bit of news that's been kind of circling around the last few days. I think that it's an absolute W, hopefully. So I did want to bring it up. Kathleen Kennedy out of here. Gone, retiring, bye. And I'm gonna tone it down a little bit for this one, but I'm gonna say, even if you are a fan of everything that Star Wars has become since the Disney acquisition, I don't think anybody could disagree to the fact that Kathleen Kennedy objectively has ruined this brand and ruined the culture around the fandom. Granted, you have some butthole fans out there too. Star Wars fandom, they some ruthless fans, but all of that was created, and not just created, but almost encouraged by Kathleen Kennedy and the culture that she created around this IP, almost making it feel like it was her goal to divide the fandom. So when we get this news here that's being reported by so many scoopers like My Time to Shine Hello, Matt Baloney, saying that Kathleen Kennedy is supposedly going to be retiring this year in 2025, probably a Star Wars Celebration later this year, that gets me extremely excited because we need change. Star Wars needs change. It needs to, really at this point, it needs to just go away, but it definitely needs to change. And we have 3-4 people who potentially might be taking over this mantle and driving the company forward after Kathleen Kennedy gets out of there. Who are we talking about? There was a tweet that came up a few days ago by a guy named Andrew Salazar. He added onto a post by discussing film that stated that Kathleen Kennedy was going to be retiring this year, and he said her replacements are exactly who you think they're going to be. I don't know about you, I hear that, my mind goes instantly to Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. And while I do think that that is a solid pick, there are a couple others who are, maybe you will say, in the talks or fan casted, for lack of a better term, to be the ones taking over Lucasfilm. But starting off with Dave, I think Dave Filoni absolutely has to be a part of this. He has to be one, if not the person that is going to be taking on the mantle of president of Lucasfilm in some way, shape, or form. If he isn't, I feel like that is a huge L. Now, the thing about Dave is I know he is more of a supporter when it comes to Kathleen Kennedy. There haven't really been too many reports of him pushing back on her decisions, nor has there been any type of scoops that they didn't get along or couldn't agree on something. Dave seems to be kind of in Kathleen's corner almost every step of the way, which does irritate me because I love Dave Filoni. I think that he has a solid grasp on what Star Wars is. He is really the last remaining part of George's old remnant. Yeah, I know George picked Kathleen. I don't want to hear that shit. So it does get kind of irritating being as big of a fan of Dave as I am, that he pushes and goes so hard for Kathleen. But I do think that Dave is a good pick simply because he has, I think, the best grasp on this IP than anybody else at that company. And every project that he has done since Disney took over, I feel has been some of the best Star Wars that Disney has put out. The Mandalorian being one of the top shows, at least season 1 and season 2. Ahsoka, even though maybe it wasn't loved by everybody, I think that it is way better than a lot of the recent projects and even a lot of the past projects that have come out. Having a hand in Rebels is a fantastic show. Even Tales of the Jedi, Tales of the Empire, I think is better than a lot of the recent crap that we've gotten. But Tales of the Jedi was flawless. Dave Filoni just gets it, and I trust him to take Star Wars in a direction that it needs to go. True, he might be underqualified, maybe not as much experience in that realm of that business, but that fact does bring me to my next person, which is Jon Favreau. I think that Jon Favreau is also a great pick. I think he's a little bit more business minded. He's a little bit more experienced in that realm, but he also respects the IP. He likes Star Wars, he respects Star Wars, and he works really well with Dave, and they get along just fine, making some of the dopest stuff together. Hence Mandalorian. You can say what you want about season 3, I agree with you, but again, that was due to interference from Kathleen Kennedy. Another pick that I see going around, more so pushed by trades people, Hollywood trades type of individuals, is Kevin Feige. And now I gotta be honest, this is a decision that I would not be mad at. Know that Kevin Feige is a huge Star Wars fan, so I have all the faith that he would respect the IP. He has done a fantastic job with the MCU, and when the MCU started falling off, really that was only because Kevin Feige wasn't as involved as he was before. I think Kevin Feige has a lot more of an aggressive and assertive vibe vibe to him, that he would be able to make the hard calls. And I also think that he would take the source material and adapt that, but also in a way where he can make things different, kind of give us some twists, all while still respecting the lore and the projects that came before, mainly George's stuff. And let's not forget that this was rumored at one point that Kevin Feige going to do his own Star Wars film. But unfortunately, KK did all she could to make that not happen and sabotage those plans, to the point where she even said that it was a rumor that Kevin Feige was going to be doing a Star Wars film, which was absolutely not true, leaving Kevin with the only choice but to really get out of that. And what all of that is KK is just worried that Kevin would show her up. He's so concerned about her legacy and how she's looked at after she goes, not realizing that she's going to be looked at negatively regardless for the rest of time, at least for being the person who ruined the Star Wars brand. But I think that Kevin Feige, if not Dave Filoni, if not Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, Kevin Feige could absolutely get the job done. I would love to see it. I would be very interested and excited if that was going to happen. Another pick that's out there, and according to Jeff Snyder, probably more likely, is Carrie Beck. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm not too familiar with her name, but she has worked with Dave for a long time. She's been a part of LucasFilm for a long time, working as an executive producer and a writer on a lot of different projects like Rebels, Mandalorian, Ahsoka, Tales, and Skeleton Crew. And while that sounds positive, it's kind of because I'm not too familiar with her. I haven't seen too many interviews with her, and it's because of this that I am not really comfortable with this choice. I would rather one of the three that I do know about, that I do trust, and that do have a track record that I have followed, but who knows? You know, I think one of the positive things that DC has done, Warner Brothers has done with DC, is putting two people at the top of the mountain. You have James Gunn and Peter Safran running it together, as one a creative and the other being the business mind behind everything. And I think that that is a formula that should work. And if Lucasfilm takes that idea and maybe they do Dave and John together, I think that that is a brilliant way to go. With all this news though, of course, they still had to throw some bull our way, because even though Kathleen Kennedy is more than likely to step down this year, maybe next year, it is said that she will still be a part of a lot of the films that are in production now, supposed to be coming out, and producing them. Movies like the 5 freaking Rey-centric movies that are supposedly planned and in production to come out. This to me is a massive L. Not only having those Rey movies come out, but having Kathleen Kennedy a part of anything past the point where she retires is an L. Get her gone. She needs to get out of here. We absolutely need new direction. We need new characters, new crew members behind the scenes, people who respect and love this franchise, this IP. That aspect of somebody I feel is so important, so much more important in the Star Wars franchise than arguably any other franchise, because of how deep the lore goes, because of how specific to certain tones and vibes these movies are. Kind of got to be a fan of it. And not only that, but people who have the ultimate goal to unite the fandom and not divide them. Rian Johnson. And as I've said before, even if you are a fan of Disney Star Wars and what has come in this era of Star Wars, you can't deny that it is objectively true that Kathleen has divided the fandom, and that this division that Lucasfilm created has turned it into this dirty, smelly pit of failure that Star Wars has become. It is their fault, not just horrible movies, horrible comments made in interviews and in their marketing of these projects. Their PR sucks. The way that they had treated fans, it almost feels like the division is intended on their end, and I want to not believe that, but all the evidence says that it is, and we don't need that anymore. Kathleen Kennedy is kept at Lucasfilm in any way, then all of these changes, no matter if Dave takes the helm, no matter if John takes over, no matter if Kevin Feige takes over, they don't matter. Kathleen Kennedy is there. It does not matter if she's doing the movies. If she ends up doing her movies that she greenlit before she retired, it's over. It's over. And it's so close to being over now. But if you do this, Lucasfilm, if you keep Kathleen Kennedy on and she does these movies, there will be no fan base for you to be able to bring people back to. The best case scenario, in my opinion, is John and Dave taking over together, just like they're doing at DC, and give them full control. Let them take care of everything. Guarantee you they can do it. I know that they can do it. And if they did, then even maybe Kevin Feige can join along with them and do a few projects and be a part of what they grow. And I think that that would be the dopest trifecta in all of film history. But Kathleen Kennedy is not, will ever be the way out. And all I want is for Star Wars to be great again, man. That's all I want. That is all I got today, man. I'm gonna leave it there. What do you think about this news that has been circling the internet these these last few days. What did you think about the Andor trailer? If you want to yell at me and tell me how wrong I am, go ahead and join the Discord. I'll be in there and I will respond to you. But if maybe you agree with my take, if you agree with the things that I say and you like this video and stayed this long, hit that like button for me so that we can get this video out to people, because this is one of the reasons why I started doing a YouTube in the first place, is just to have a voice and have an opinion and put it out there. Let's get it out there. And also for you, think about subscribing to the channel so you can stay updated with the future content that comes out. Appreciate you for coming by, listening to me talk about Star Wars. I'm out of here, man. I gotta go. I'm out. Y'all be smooth. Stay geeked up.